I am back. Rodrance for Black and White Network. If you're new to the channel, punch subscribe, like, comment, check us out on podcast, wherever you get your podcasting from. So, of course, we're going to talk about the bloodbath in Chicago from over the weekend. And my God, it was another bloody weekend. Evidently, you can't jump in an Uber or Lyft in Chicago without getting your ass shot off, for lack of a better way of putting it. And we're also going to talk about Brandon Johnson and this summer youth employment program that he's trying to increase the response of. I don't know what you do there, because I do think there's real value to having youth go to work in a summer job, not even a summer job. I went to work. I knew I was going to have a job at 16 years old when I was 12. Or 11. I can remember my mother and father talking about it. When you turn 16, you will be going to work for somebody. While you are in high school, it's going to be good for you to get some responsibility, start getting it in the habit of following a strict schedule, yada, yada, yada. And you know what it did for me? It absolutely kept me on the straight and narrow. It kept me out of trouble because, frankly, I worked as what they called a courtesy clerk in a grocery store. And back in those days, we still had to go actually manually get the buggies out in the parking lot. And it was walking all over the place and blisters on the feet. And you know, May, June, July, August, September in East Texas, 90 to 112 degree weather. 50 to 100% humidity, and it was a nightmare. And I did everything else too. I did the stocking, I did all kinds of things. But my Friday evening looked like literally, I was as a senior or junior, I would get out by like 1 p.m. and then I had to be at work by 2 p.m. and I didn't get off till 10 p.m. And that was all through school. While I was going to school, I remember my senior year, I worked about 30 to 35 hours a week. And it did me a lot of good, a ton of good, actually. So anyway, I see the value in what it is that Brandon Johnson's trying to do here with youth employment. But the problem is I had a great example in seeing my father get up every day and go to work. For a lot of these folks right here, I do think... And look, you can just see this drop off. So they've got nobody to blame but themselves as far as the Democrats go, because you can tell what has happened here. Mayor Brandon Johnson kicked off Chicago's annual summer jobs program today. This wouldn't be a summer jobs program. This would go year round. All right? To get the kids off the streets during the school year. There's all kinds of jobs where kids can go work 12, 15, 18 hours a week during school to keep them out of trouble. I mean, come on. Johnson's predecessor, Lori Lightfoot, frequently spoke of a, quote, all-hands-on-deck approach to violence, which Johnson echoed today. The program, called One Summer Chicago, is a longtime staple of City Hall's approach to summer violence and youth enrichment that serves youth ages 14 to 24. I don't know how the 14 works out. I mean, here you got to be 16 years old to go to work. It has shrunk from employing 31,522 young people in 2019 to 20,544 last year. I can tell you a couple of things that happened. Well, one thing for sure, COVID. The Democratic overreaction to COVID in these Democratic states. Oh my God, you can't go to work, keep a mask on, stay home, stay locked in the house, blah, 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 except they weren't staying locked in the house. They were hitting the streets and blasting people. Let's be real. And something about this One Summer Chicago program is not working out. Your numbers wouldn't be dropping and the violence in your town wouldn't be as bad as it is. I certainly believe that, yes, having kids work while they're still going to school is very advantageous. Plus, it just creates a better work ethic for being an adult later. Let's get to this nightmare from the weekend. At least 30 shot during the weekend in Mayor Brandon Johnson's Chicago. I mean, it says 5 of them fatally. I can tell you right now, you see this headline, 8 fatally. So eight people have actually been killed over the weekend. ABC 7 / the Chicago Sun-Times reported that a man was standing in the street in the 2900 block of West Lexington Street at 6:20 p.m. Friday when someone opened fire and shot him multiple times. Taken to the hospital, 39-year-old, standing on the sidewalk, shot. At some point, how about we get people off the sidewalk? 2 men were fighting on Sunday. One of them fired a gun. The bullet hit a woman in the head. It fatally wounded her. A 15-year-old was near a sidewalk in the 2200 block of South California Avenue. I don't know where that is exactly. Sunday around 4:10 p.m. in the afternoon, when someone opened fire from inside a vehicle, striking him in the chest, fatally wounding him. He was pronounced dead at the scene. That's a 15-year-old. And this talks about a 19-year-old rideshare vehicle in Little Italy. Let's go to this story. Let's hear a little bit more about that. 19-year-old man was shot and killed inside of a rideshare car in the Little Italy neighborhood Sunday night. The shooting occurred about 8:55 p.m. in the 1300 block of West Taylor Street. Police said the man was inside of the rideshare car when somebody walked up and opened fire before running off. The rideshare driver drove the victim to Rush University Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Witness Andrea Davis was sitting on a bench waiting for a tow truck when shots were fired right out in front of her. Within 5 minutes, pow, 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 I heard gunshots. I thought about 20, to be honest. I thought I heard about 20 gunshots. She ducked behind the bench to shield herself from the bullets. Quote, I'm thinking it's pretty close. I thought I had got hit. So what I did was I fell behind the bench to try to cover myself. Meanwhile, local anti-violence advocate Pastor Corey Brooks said it was his administrative assistant's son who was killed. My God. Go on, say prayers for the family. Area 3 detectives are investigating. Let's listen to this number, folks. I saw this just now. The Sun-Times homicide database indicated 276 people were killed in Chicago from January 1 to 2023 to June 25th, 2023. 276 people dead through yesterday. One city. I hear all these Democrats pissing and moaning about mass shootings. You got a mass shooting there going on there every weekend, every week. A mass shooting. Toughest gun laws in the country. Oh, criminals don't follow gun laws? You don't say. You don't say. I didn't know that. Oh, I did know that. Yeah, because anybody with half a brain does know that. Got a bunch of hoodlums running the streets right now. Yeah. And your one summer job program, while in theory sounds great, it obviously isn't working. Because whoever they're watching is not instilling enough of a work ethic to go get a job. And by the way, why go get a job when you can saunter into your local department store and steal the sumbitch blind and sell the shit on eBay or Amazon or Facebook Marketplace, yada, yada, yada. Well, why the hell would I want a job? Stop crime. It's the ancillary crime that's probably causing an issue with folks wanting to go to work. The fact is, robbing places have become people's jobs up there in Chicago and some of these other liberal areas, by the way, where their frickin' Walgreens stores look like Fort Knox on the inside. I swear to God. Do I have to break out do I have to call in the safe cracker to get a Summer's Eve vaginal douche around here? Just wondering. Or some Crest toothpaste? How about a bag of peanuts? I mean, really? Do we have to employ Ocean's 11 to get the crew in here to get some Stay Puft marshmallows and some AAA batteries? I mean, really? I mean, think about it. The links bounds. Businesses leaving. Well, my God, I don't know what's happened to the summer employment program. Why aren't people working? It's because half of CVS is sitting on Facebook Marketplace right now, being sold. My goodness. I don't know how, but Antonio Davis sure did. He sure got a great deal on Summer's Eve on his Facebook Marketplace. He's got 9 boxes for $12. How do you think the dude got the inventory? Summer job? You've got to be kidding me, right? I'd take a pay cut. It's a wreck. Quit voting in this leadership up there. Quit doing it. It's ridiculous. Definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Of course not. Of course it's not going to change. You keep trying the same shit over again, it's not going to change. I don't know. I'd start, you want to get radical? Take a look at some places around the country that have triple funded their police or quadruple funded it, created some strike teams. You get the point. Tell me what you think, Black and White Network supporters. Got to start cracking down on something, for crying out loud. I feel bad for the good people, and there, believe it or not, there's a lot of good people in Chicago. I feel bad for people up there that do try to do right. I mean, the way everybody's voting up there, the inmates are running the asylum, and the asylum is the city. You can throw in St. Louis, New York, San Francisco, L.A., Houston, parts of Dallas. The list goes on and on. Check out what those mayors all have in common. They all got a D floating next to their name. And that ain't for dork. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.